Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Canon U.S.A. photographer Randall M. Rueff. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 times 3D zoom lens. First of all, 3 times because it has the magnification of 3 times, and 3D because it has 2 lens elements in front of the sensor that you can put. Let me start again. 2 separate lenses within one lens body. And it has 3 times zoom lens. So you go 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and everything in between. So let me start off. This is an old lens that never really came into production. There were some prototypes made, and rumors are there were a few of them sold in Japan. And the rumors are they were selling for about $10,000. It was a very expensive lens, and then they recalled it. Let me take you back to about 2000 or before, maybe. Probably as far back as, gosh, yeah, about 2000. Maybe, I'm trying to think, graduated 92, so maybe 1995, somewhere between there and 2000. I've had this camera, I've had the XL1S for a very long time. Let me take that back. Okay. 2000, I'm jumping out of Atterbury. I quit Atterbury, went through Ivy Tech. 2002. Okay, so 2003 maybe. Has it been that long? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I've had it a long time. Considering it's now 2017. Okay, so around 2003. It could have been before then. I don't remember. It's around 2000. It may have been 97, 98. Anyway, I saved up and bought an XL1S. Came with a 16 times zoom lens. At the time, state of the art, high tech. This was before HD came out or started becoming big. It was 480p full television resolution. If you had a television that did 480p, which is most televisions, again, this is before HD, it had 3 CCD, pretty much, maybe not the highest end professional, but for a mid-range guy, getting one of these was a really cool thing. And I wanted one, and I saved up, and I bought it, and it was like, gosh, when I can take into consideration the extra batteries and the case, it was a $5,000 purchase between the extra batteries and some extra supplies and the case. So I spent, in taxes, of course. So I spent about $5,000 getting my outfit. The camera itself was about $4,000 of that price. And like I said, I got some extra batteries, extra chargers. Plus, there was tax involved and shipping and all that stuff. Well, one of the lenses that was out there that I could never afford, obviously, and it never really came to America. And from what my understanding is, it didn't last that long in Japan due to some difficulty. And that was the 3D lens. To be able to make a 3D image with one lens in a compact form. Now, first of all, let's talk about 2 things. First of all, the cost. Again, it was rumored to be between $10,000 and $12,000. Most of at the time, the internet was saying 10,000 plus. So $10,000. First of all, didn't have any kind of money, to say the least. But let's say I did have the money, and said it had become available to me. The problem with these lenses, at least from what I read online, is that how they recorded the image was, they intercut the frames. In other words, let me explain that. The images were offset onto the videotape, where they were offset because they're not. In other words, you'd have one that's a little bit different placement than the other image. So it's like up and over, and basically you had, I'm trying to think how to describe it without actually drawing a picture. In other words, in normal video, you have one image in one place. Well, with 3D, you have one image in one place, and then you have another second image off to the side just a little bit. It's adjusted up and over just a little bit, so they don't exactly line up. So they're close, but they're not in the same place. They're offset a little bit. So that's how you get the 3D image. It works the same way your eyes do. Your two eyes don't see exactly the same thing. They see something similar, but because they're in different positions, they get it from a little bit of a different angle, and that gives everything in real life the depth that we see in every day for the average person. So the problem with this was, the way they had it set up was, there's two images. The camera could run at 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second. Of course, you could do time lapse, which is, did some time lapse with it. In fact, got some really neat effects. But for average recording, you could do 24 frames a second or 30 frames, which is actually like 29.96 or whatever. But basically, 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second. So when you had a 3D video, the problem is it would take a left image and then a right image, a left image and a right image. So instead of having 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second, you had 12 left side images and 12 right side images if you had 24 frames a second. And you had, if you had 30 frames per second, you had 15 left images and 15 right images, and they interswitch. So it'd be left, right, left, right, or left, right, left, right, left, right. And instead of having 24 or 30 frames, you had 12 on the left, 12 on the right. And then you can go back and forth. So it'd be like left, right, left, right, left, right. So instead of having 24 or 30 frames, you were actually, the best way to know how to is like you had, because you have two images splitting back and forth, it was the equivalent, or the effect that came out was, it came out very staggered, because you were basically getting 12 or 15, the equivalent of what looked like 12 or 15 frames a second. So obviously that wasn't acceptable at the time. Of course, nowadays with a faster film rate, it might have worked, because now we can do, you can do with 1080p, you can do film rates of 120 seconds, 160, or 140, 160. So you can step up the frames per second. And maybe if the technology we have now, as far as film rates, maybe we could have, or they could have made that work. So maybe if we had today's technology as far as speed of frames per second, back in the old days, they might have been able to get it to work. Of course, my idea, again, this is just me, and this is based on the red-blue, most 3D movies are, you have the red-blue glasses or the green-blue glasses or things of this nature. My idea was to record two separate images overlapped. One have a red filter, one have a blue filter, or one have a red filter and one have a green filter, whatever. Different colors there are, but each lens element would have its own color, and then you could overlay those images onto each frame of film or each image, digital image, one after the other. And that way you'd have two images on one, or what would be the equivalent of one frame of film. And they would be offset. For example, you can have one set to, let's say you have your right blue, and you have it at 100% darkness. And then you have your red set at, say, 50% or 75% or somewhere in there. So it's not completely as dark as the other image, and it's transparent, more transparent, and you can maybe get that 3D effect with a set of either red and blue or red and green 3D glasses. Now, of course, nowadays we have something called Real D, 3D, and things like that director James Cameron used to do films like Avatar and films of this quality and nature. Of course, a lot of films nowadays are putting out 3D versions of the film. So eventually, I think we'll get to the point where consumers like myself can get a lens or a camera that does what James Cameron and filmmakers along that line spend millions of dollars for. It's just like the Canon 5D Mark II. Before the 5D Mark II, George Lucas spent, I forget how, I see the documentary, I don't remember how much it was, but it was like for a 720p lens, or was it 1080p? I think it was 1080p. Lens was like $1 million, and the cameras were like $2 or $3 million to get a 1080p image. Well, of course, nowadays you can get you can get a camera that can do 1080p for $200 or $300, which is no big deal. But back in 2000 or a little bit before Attack of the Clones, those cameras cost millions of dollars, and the lenses were very, very expensive, custom-made lenses. Of course, when Canon introduced the 5D Mark II back, I think it was 2004, 2005, that was a game-changer camera, going from a DSLR that could shoot video. And I think, if they had today's technology as far as speed, they could have made this lens work. And I think there's different ways to implement 3D. And obviously, if you see a modern 3D movie in the year 2017 or beyond, it's not, you don't have to have those red and blue glasses or red and green glasses. You still have to have 3D glasses, but I don't know how they're made. But the point is, they look, when you put the glasses on, they look photorealistic. I mean, it looks like you're shooting out of a real camera. I mean, you don't have a blue tint or a red tint to the glasses. You have the experience of having a full resolution, real life video. So how they do it, I don't know. But I think eventually it's going to get to the point where the consumers like myself, who just want to shoot a 3D video because it's cool, can do so. And it might be with a lens like this or similar to this, hopefully with a lot lower price point. And I would love to have one. I think this is a cool lens. I would love to have one to shoot both pictures, photos, and video. So you can do both with the same lens. I'm looking forward to that day. Now, it may not look like this because this is for the XL1S. But I remember when I got my XL1S, I was, first of all, very ecstatic because it was it's probably one of the most expensive things I've ever bought outside of my new car back in the day when I got it. So I was very ecstatic to get it. It was the lens I wanted was this 3D lens. I couldn't afford it. And then when I found out they didn't make them in the U.S. and when they made them in Japan, they recalled them very soon after because it was just the frame rates were in the film that came from the slow film rates looked choppy and wasn't very high-end professional usage looking quality of video coming from the cameras. The cameras were fine, but it was just the lens technology of one frame, left frame, right frame, left frame, right frame, just couldn't deal with the fact that you can only shoot in 24 or 30 frames per second. So what's going to happen to this lens? It's probably going to be gone forever. I've never actually seen one in real life. I don't even know if they still exist. They're a beautiful looking lens, and I would love to have one. In fact, I would love to have one with my digital Rebel XT. I mean, I would be happy to have one with my Canon XL1S. I would really love to have one that went with a standard EF mount, so I can put one on my Canon digital Rebel XT. And hopefully one day when I can afford to get a 1DX Mark II or something even better than that after it's released, I would love to have a fully working 3D lens similar to this that actually worked and did its job. But I can't afford that right now, and I can't even afford to try. So until then, this is just a dream. When I say dream, it's something I want. Not as in I went to sleep and I saw it. Just when I'm awake, it would be awesome to be able to shoot 3D movies. I mean, just 3D videos would be cool. Back in the day, I experimented with some pictures that I did 3D, but they were hard and very time-consuming, and a lot of work just to get one or two pictures that were very good. And the process I did it by was repeatable, but it wasn't always accurate because some pictures it was a pain in the butt. I mean, I got a few ones that looked good, but overall, the process was not very, how do you want to say, mass producible, unless you really knew Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so in short, very expensive, never mass produced. Wish I had one, wish I could tinker with one. Wish they would make one that works with today's cameras and technology. The Canon 3D 3 times zoom lens. One of those things that never was that we all hope would be. So that's pretty much it. Brief history, brief outlook of something we wish we had, but we don't. Or I guess that's the best way to put it. So until next time, I'm Canon EOS photographer, videographer, Randall M. Rueff. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. God bless. And keep taking those pictures, even if they're only in 2D.